There's something powerful about the journey of leadership, the daily steps, the long-term vision, and everything we learn along the way. Welcome to Leadership Labs, where we explore these journeys with the incredible leaders of Aurora Public Schools. In each episode, we hear from those who are helping guide us toward Destination APS, sharing their stories, their challenges, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Today, I'm joined by Anabel Rafoul, founding principal of Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez, APS's first dual language school opening this fall. Anabel is currently in year 0, which is a planning year that is dedicated to building everything from scratch, from curriculum adoption to naming the school, picking the mascot, hiring the staff, recruiting students, and all of the things that we'll hear more about in this episode. This fall, she'll welcome preschool, kindergarten, and first grade students, and then we'll add a grade each year after that until we get to 5th grade.
Yes.
Let's explore what it takes to build a dual language school and why this work matters so deeply for our community here in Aurora. Anabel, welcome to Leadership Labs.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about who you are. So that's the first question. Who are you? And then the second question is, tell us a little bit about what it's been like to be in year 0 of opening APS's first dual language school.
Wow. Like now that you put it like that, it's like, okay, it's a big deal.
That's right.
Well, thank you for having me here today. Anabel Rafoul. You know, it's been 23 years since I came to Colorado. I was hired as a bilingual teacher in a neighboring district 23 years ago. I didn't think about leadership at that point, but I was born and raised in Mexico. Both my parents and my grandma were educators in Mexico. Obviously, they're retired. So I grew up with that, right? Serving the community. I always grew up seeing my family, my dad, my mom, just helping families and students. It was truly a joy seeing them, supporting all the families and students. And, Maestro Mario, my dad, who already passed, my mom, Maestra Lucy, just having them as role models is, I think until today, they're like my role models in life for education and really that's serving the community in education. And then I came to Colorado, was an ELD teacher for many years, supporting newcomer students, 6th grade, 6 through 8. And I think that was my first, realization of supporting bilingual students from the asset lens, right? Like all the students, they didn't speak English, yet they had so many assets and just founding everything around that. And throughout the years, I realized that I wanted to become an administrator because I didn't see many Latino administrators back then. And it was 2016 that I decided to go into administration and explore that route just because I felt like I just wanted to do a little bit more for our Latino students and our families.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit what it's been like this year. What is a year 0 and what has it been like?
I do talk to a lot of friends and colleagues, and at this time of the year, I feel like I'm on a bullet train, and I'm just gonna describe it like that. It's like the Amtrak, like we all the time we say that the train has left, but this is the bullet. It's not stopping. First semester was great, learning a lot about the system, a lot of collaboration with a lot of departments and APS. But I think this semester is been amazing, yet challenges. Yet a lot of joy seeing kids' names, families applying, coming to our events, getting to know the kids, the students. Like I know some names already, so I'm working on that. It's been great. Also, my team has been very supportive of school, assistant principal and office staff. We have made some great steps with hiring. I cannot tell you how excited our new teachers, our new staff are. Like they want to jump in, they want to come in to support. It's a big deal being part of this founding team.
That's right.
So it's been, I'm just gonna say it's like a roller coaster. Like I said, it's a bullet train. It's not stopping, but we're bringing a lot of great people on the train.
That's amazing. And not very many of us have the privilege of having the year zero and being a part of that founding team. And so, yeah, I'm glad to hear that it's been exciting for you and for all of our new team members and the families and the students who are going to be a part of creating the culture and leaving the legacy.
Yeah. And it's yes, and I think as a former principal who was leading a school that was already established, I think having the opportunity to have a year zero, which I never done before, this is my first time also opening a school. I'm very grateful for that opportunity, and the district has that system in place in order to make this successful, right, for everybody, employees, families, myself, and everybody else. So I'm really glad and grateful for that.
I have a question for you for families or educators, people out there who may be listening and not be familiar with a dual language education. Can you tell us what it is and why it's so important?
Wow, that's this. It's, like you said, it's my passion about just languages. One of the things that attracted me to Aurora Public Schools was really the diversity. I work in other districts where there's not dual language schools, but just bringing the opportunity to Aurora, and we already have the students. A lot of our families know they speak already 2 or more languages, right? Our model is going to be a 90-10 model, dual language program. 90% of the instruction is going to be conducted in Spanish in preschool and 10% in English. I do believe that this is an opportunity that our families deserve. Also, something that we should encourage our families to bring their students, provide this opportunity to the students to be bilingual. I think that it's families know they speak many languages. The idea of explaining and teaching our families about biliteracy, right? It's not just speaking and being able to communicate orally or for just social purposes, but I think bringing the idea of the academic language, the reading, the writing, and both languages or more. I think that's important for families to know, and just providing and explaining what bilingual education can mean in the long term for students and the families itself, right? I think that's very important. I'm glad that we are doing it. We're also sharing with our families what the model looks like. By the time students get to 3rd grade at our school in APS, they will receive 50% instruction in English and 50% instruction in Spanish. And this is for all the subject areas. I'm really excited to continue to partner up with families and so they can learn more about the program and what they can expect when students graduate in 5th grade.
Yeah, I appreciate you naming that. In our school, by 3rd grade, we'll be at 50-50. And what we mean by that also is that your students, for families who send their student to Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez, their student will be literate in English and Spanish by the time they're in 3rd grade. That they will be on grade level in reading and writing,
right,
speaking and listening in English and Spanish by 3rd grade. Right. So the 90-10 means we're going to build the literacy skills in Spanish first. By the time we get to 3rd grade, they'll be reading and writing in English and Spanish. And I think sometimes parents wonder if I send them to a 90-10 school, are they not going to develop the English language, component? And which is of course not true, but I think it's important for us to talk about those kinds of things with the community.
And I think that's part of what the work that we're also starting to do. So parents understand anytime, let's say they come to parent-teacher conferences, right? When the first time they see the student work in both languages, we should be able to tell parents what it means and how it will progress. So that's part of my vision to teach parents, to partner up with them so they know and understand the trajectory of their kids' biliteracy journey or bilingual journey.
Yes. You mentioned that you've been a dual language principal before. Can you share a little bit about that experience and what it taught you about this unique model? So we're very lucky that you're bringing that experience to Aurora. And, what are some of the things that you learned from that experience that we get the benefit of?
No, this is very exciting. Again, I didn't really think about this great opportunity until it came with APS. And yes, I was a principal in a neighboring school. I think the opportunity for Latino families, right, that for students to, again, learn and develop both languages. I think I will say the highlight is, the highlight of my previous school was the diversity in families and also staff. I do want to say that diversity in staff is incredibly important because we were in a very diverse staff, teachers from different parts of Latin America, also from the United States, and I think that also creates a rich culture as far as bilingual community or multilingual community. Teachers who are committed to bilingual education, teachers who are committed to our Latino population, families who do not speak Spanish as a first language, value the language. Just seeing that was very important to me. Families who really value, I want my child to learn a second language in Spanish, and they were very supportive. I think that also just bringing that community of parents, teachers at that particular school stay there, right? And I think that's something that I wish I can bring and make this happen. Like, we want our teachers to stay in Aurora Public Schools. It's a destination district.
That's right.
We want teachers to stay at Betty Benavidez and be committed to grow our dual language program. So I think together with the vision, just bringing what does that mean? Building a bilingual school at a bilingual environment, multicultural, what everybody's value. And it's an example. I had a parent who asked me, like, so what Spanish are you going to teach? Right? So that was a great question. So we went into, we're going to have teachers from different parts of Latin America. So definitely the Spanish is going to be different. However, the instructional Spanish, it will be based on content standards and our curriculum. But I will say the commitment of parents and the belief in bilingual education will be, I think it was my highlight, and the commitment to staff in the district.
You talked a little bit about your parents being your mentors, and they were educators as well. Can you talk to us about any key mentors in addition to them who might have shaped your understanding of bilingual education?
Yes, so thank God. When I started my career in bilingual education, I think it was in 2019, and this was extremely challenging because it was right before COVID. So I became the assistant principal at two bilingual schools in my previous district. And I will say that both of my principals at the time were incredibly supportive. And I will say those are my big two mentors that I had in bilingual education. One retired at the time, 10 years in that building. And the other one also, they both retired at the same time. And then after that, I had the opportunity to become a principal of one of the bilingual schools. But I will say, their advocacy, their leadership around dual language education, both bilingual educators, and also seeing how connected they were to the community and the staff and the culture they created. It was like I had the opportunity to go between one school and the other school in 1 week. And I don't think many people get that opportunity. So I do want to say that I also developed a lot of understanding, a lot of my leadership skills there around dual language education. Two different leaders with great skills, big heart for students and community. What was in Boulder, the other one was in Lafayette, different communities. So just seeing that contrast and the way they led their schools, the way the staff responded to them, the way the families engaged in the schools, it was amazing. So I will tell you that forever, I think both of them were my big mentors.
Okay, shout out to them.
Yes, Aina and Guillermo.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. Talk to us a little bit about what made you excited about the opportunity to apply to be the founding principal of Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez.
Jesus, I was at that time I was part of the CLDE team with Aurora Public Schools, and I heard about the project, and I was at that point taking a break, and I was like, I don't know about principalship again, right? So
Mhm.
I learned, I supported a little bit around, that. I said, no, I don't think I'm gonna apply. But I think after I saw how committed the district was, I think that the people that participated in the project to put it together and make it happen, the things I learned, then it really made me think about it. Like, okay, I'm gonna apply, see what happens, right? And see what also APS has to offer, what I can offer to APS. So, never opened in a school before, thinking about, oh, what if I get to hire our own staff, and also knowing that there's a lot of bilingual staff in APS already, and how excited they were about the opportunity to just in general. So I think that was just, it made me think about it. Say, okay, I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't completely sold in the idea of like going back to principalship at this level. But when I asked like how many bilingual schools do we have in APS, and I learned that there was none, I was like, how come? So I think that was it. I think just the commitment and the support that I saw from the district and the team that made this happen. I felt like we were serious. The district was serious about supporting and making this happen. So I gave it a shot, and I guess I'm here.
And we're glad you're here. One thing too that I think has happened since we've made the commitment to open Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez is there's a lot of interest across this school district, existing schools that want to offer dual language programming, and families who want to stay at their current neighborhood school but want access to the programming. And so, I think this could be, the first of many. And so, yeah, it's an exciting time. Tell us a little bit about Betty Benavidez. So I've had the opportunity to hear directly from you about the process for selecting the name a couple of times, and would love for our listeners just to know who she was and what the naming process was like.
And you know what? I think that's one of the highlights of year zero. Putting our design team together, who helped us through all this process of mission and vision and school name. I have to say, this is my second year in Aurora Public Schools. I live up north, so I'm also learning about the community and just having that community support. So one of our members, one of our session was about naming the school, and then we requested some ideas and names. So one of our design team members brought up Betty Benavidez, so we started researching about her and thinking, going with board guidelines about naming and what's a good option, because we are reopening 6th Avenue. We also wanted to make sure we keep a little bit of that, the identity of the 6th Avenue community, yet also bringing the new identity for the bilingual schools. So when we learned about Betty Benavidez, it was just fascinating to learn that there was really no information or schools or entities named after her. She was an advocate for bilingual education, serving the Colorado legislature in the 70s. And she authored really the bilingual bill for bilingual education for Colorado students back then. Also, she advocated for some Latino studies, I believe, and at the college level. So she just went to the college level. But one thing that was very touching, and I have to say that was a great experience through this process, was getting in contact with the family. Family members were really excited. They share a lot of great stories about Betty and her work with the community, work with the state of Colorado, and how she will volunteer in schools and places and bring family and people together in her neighborhood. But also knowing that how much she did, that they wish she had been recognized before among other great Latino leaders for the community. So I think that was a great, it was kind of like cherry on the top of this whole process, being able to find family members who are obviously they're being to the school, they're super excited to see the school, and also we continue to learn about more Betty. Like my goal and my hope is we'll have a space in our library in a school where we will display pictures. I want students to read about her story. I want students to, throughout the years, develop her identity around her values and what she really means to not just our school and in general, but also what her work meant for bilingual education in Colorado.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Similar, really interested to learn a little bit more about the mascot. If you can tell us about how you approached that decision, what you landed on, and why.
That was also part of the design team feedback. We went back and forth between, I think we have a butterfly, el quetzal,
That's right.
and colibri, el hummingbird, right? We were thinking about what do other schools do? Like, what's the pattern there with big cats and whatnot and other things. So I think we wanted to bring something about, joy, multicultural,
Yeah.
identities, languages. So we landed on those three. We got input from the staff. Also, we were playing a little bit with the words because we're like Spanish and then translating, and quetzal was the same word, but then it kind of, when we looked at the meaning, like I don't know if it aligns well with our identity. So we landed on the colibri and the hummingbird, and it's a long name, but I think we're gonna use the word in Spanish, colibri, and it really meant a lot of the things we were looking for in as far as the vision. And I know it's small and mighty, but the resilience, starting from zero, continuing with the joy, and just we want to be a happy place, a place where everybody belongs and feels identified. So yeah, we're very excited about the colibri.
Messengers of good news.
Of a lot of good news for sure, and they're always watching.
That's right. Okay. You've been recruiting students and staff, which is one of the beautiful, exciting things I heard you talk about today of being in year zero. And it's also a challenge. And so would love to hear your pitch. Why should students enroll at Betty Benavidez? And why should educators come and work at Betty Benavidez?
Well, first of all, families, if you know any, we have more spaces for kinder and first, just to be part of this great opportunity in building this program together, being part of the first cohort of students who will be a bilingual, biliterate cohort of students by the end of, I believe, 2030, 2031, maybe.
When they leave fifth grade?
Yeah, when they leave fifth grade. I know. That's
the first graders.
Yes,
yeah.
First graders.
31.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, 2031 for the first graders.
That's crazy and exciting. Be part of this great opportunity to be one of the founding families. Also, students to carry that story, to carry that, like that they will mean like that's the destination APS, right? Like you said, this is the first of hopefully other schools in our district, but also just bringing the value, and we know that our families and their students have so many things to offer and bring. Like I said, we are an asset-based district, asset-based school, especially because of the languages and their cultures. So trust that this is going to be successful, and it's because it's going to be because of the partnership with families as well. Staff, this is an incredible opportunity. It's we have a great team already going, a lot of excitement, a lot of commitment. Come be the first. I don't know, join. This is very exciting. Like you said, it's challenging, but anytime I get to meet new students and families, I can't even tell you how excited that is. Like I want to see him in the classroom already with our teachers.
Yes. Again, as you think about the programming, how does dual language education support both English learners who maybe their native language is Spanish, as well as native English speakers who will be learning Spanish as their second language?
That's a great question, because I think that's, yes, that's a great, it's an important thing about a model, right? Demographics, so how we're going to create our classes. 50% of the students will be Spanish native speakers. 50% of students will be English or other language, speakers of other languages. So the idea is that both will be models of the language to each other. Yes, through instruction, but yet because there will be models, and then throughout the day. And that's how our model works. That's why it's also the 90-10. That's one of the, thank you for asking that. It's one of the very, very important things that we will continue, and we're trying, well, it's a commitment to maintain that model and the fidelity to that.
Absolutely. And I think even back to what we talked about earlier with students at third grade being on grade level in English and Spanish, we're making this a really ambitious goal that we are saying your student, whether their native language is Spanish or English and are learning Spanish as a second language, or they're learning English as a second language, are going to be on track by third grade to graduate with the seal of biliteracy. You're going to develop your native language as well as whatever the L2 is for that group of students.
And that's another piece that that's our goal, to along the way in elementary school also teach parents about the seal of biliteracy. So students will be receiving a certificate at the end of kinder, at the end of preschool, at the end of fifth grade. So they also see that. So that's very important also for us to share with families that they will be able to do that. And also just to share with my colleagues in leadership, any bilingual program, dual program will be successful if we have the right conditions. So I do want to tell our families, we do have the support, we have the systems, we're doing everything we can so we can set those conditions so we can have a super strong program and believe that our students will be biliterate and on track to graduate.
That's great. As you reflect on just your experience over the last 23 plus years, what resources or authors or programs or professors or PD have influenced your approach to dual language education?
There's a lot. There's one person that I still, I do appreciate a lot from a lot. She still works at my previous school as a biliteracy instructional coach. And just learning from incredibly, people from CU Bueno Center, Boulder, on dual language education. And also not only that, but also the programming in Colorado. They travel many different states in the country, but just having that resource in a state is huge. So I learned a lot. I completed my master's through the Bueno Center many years ago.
Yo también.
We got waffles. Yeah. So I do want to say, a lot of them, like I just want to recognize the Bueno Center, whoever's being serving through that. It's a great, I think we're very lucky that we have them in the state. Yes. But also one of the ones that I've recently been listening to, which I had the opportunity to see last year at Koalas, was Jimmy Casas. And I connected a lot what he has to share because of the culture I'm trying to create, and I want to create at our school and a district. So, he's bilingual, he was a principal, but just the idea of the cultural lies and another piece, the words on the wall. So it's since last year, I'm going to Koalas again this weekend, but since last year, I keep thinking about, and since I knew I was going to be the principal, like what words on the wall I want in our building.
That's right.
What kind of culture we want to build together, especially as I hire new staff, like what are the skills and the assets and that balance that I want to bring to create that culture. So I will say if he's the one, sometimes I listen to his episode, the interview chair, which is also great. by the way, helped me prepare for my interview for this job.
That's amazing.
But I will say right now, because of where I am, I will say centering back on his work and the things that he has to offer around culture.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fun question for you as we think of your leadership playlist. What songs or artists have been playing as you prepare to welcome our students this fall?
It's a lot. It's a lot in Spanish, but I would
That's
say
good. That's good.
I do like.
I almost did this episode in Spanish, but I don't know how many of our listeners speak Spanish. But
Yeah. We'll try another one.
Yeah.
Next time.
Part two. We'll come and see how it's going.
Yeah. I like that. Let's do that.
Okay.
I love Bruno Mars.
Okay.
One of my favorites of all time. I think his new album, like, I know there's this song, Risk It All. Like, that's where I am. Like, risk it all for this school, for culture, for what we want to do with this new program, and truly make it part of the Destination APS. That's what we want to go around and tell families and teachers. That's why it's a Destination APS. So I'm going to risk it all. That's what I'm doing. And
I love it.
Playing right now.
Risk it all. Okay. Well, speaking of, what does Destination APS mean to you and the future Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez community?
Well, that's a great question, Jesus. This is my 4th district in Colorado. I really didn't think about Aurora previously. I think just that year that I had when I took a break from leadership, just learning more about the district. It's a big district, bigger compared to the previous districts that I worked at. And then, last year I started listening about Destination APS and then learning what's that little star missing, right? Like that we have that star now, the dual language program, yet we can do other things later on for our families. But just the commitment to multicultural education, being part of the CLD department last year, also, I learned so much about our students and population, like learning about how many students we serve, how many languages also are part of our district. That was something I didn't have before in any other district, right? Was either more Latino, or maybe one dominant language. But this is really out of my 4 districts, the most multicultural, diverse district I work with. And I feel like also my skill set, the things that I'm passionate about, I'm able to continue to grow and bring and offer, right, partner up with the district and other leaders. And also what it means for Betty Benavidez. I think, like I said at the beginning, I hope that our families and our students will be proud to say we were part of the first cohort of this school when it opened, right? And this was Betty. These were my teachers. This is what I remember. This is how my first year went. This was how we did the inauguration party. Like anything that the kids can cherish and remember, obviously on top of their education. But I think that just making it their own, I think that's like a one-at-a-time opportunity for our families and staff. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
Amazing. Okay, my last question.
Okay.
As you think about just building on what you just said, and even going back to the first graders will finish 5th grade in the year 2031, I think. What is your vision from now when those first graders are in 5th grade? How do you hope the school looks, feels? What is the story? What's the narrative? What's the experience that students are looking back on?
Wow. Oh, it gives me chills to think about that.
Good.
Just thinking about the leaders that we want to grow, right? Thinking about those 5th graders who will probably be our little reading buddies in kinder first, and just having them like carry the, tell about our school, tell us what it's been, show us your work, what are you most proud of, whether it's, the content area, something about the school, maybe go around the school and say, when I was in 1st grade, we put this mural together, right? I think just, that's my vision and my hope that throughout the years, giving enough opportunities to our 1st graders to have those memories and making their own, as well as their families. Like it's really their school. And I think that's something we always try to communicate and share with our families. Is their school, is their community, we're there to serve them. So, talking about our, participating and whatnot, writing bilingual essays, just bringing more opportunities to highlight all the benefits of bilingual education and really speaking, right, about our school and the benefits. I think that will be a great opportunity. And I know it's 3031, but it's, years are going.
I'll be here before you know it.
I know.
Okay, and I said that was my last question. This is a final prompt for families who are out there potentially listening, for educators looking for a great place to work. How might they find out more information about you and the school or get in touch with you?
Yeah, so we have, I would say, find us on Facebook, Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez on Facebook. You can also go to Aurora Public Schools and look at the magnet, because we're a magnet school. You'll find our information there. We have a few jobs posted, but also our school line, direct line, can also find us there. But I will say, we're everywhere. Say Facebook. Families, please, if you have questions, we're happy to answer any questions. Like if you have questions about the program, the times, the classes, anything, we're there to just answer your questions. So if you know any other families, by the way, we're going to have families. We're working on some yard signs that our families who already accepted will support.
Good.
And they're also families that are really happy to support and help us recruit more families.
Good,
So
good.
come learn about our program.
Amazing. Anabel, thank you for sharing this exciting journey with us today. Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez represents something historic in Aurora Public Schools as our first dual language school, opening this fall with preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. And again, for families looking for a bilingual education that honors language as an asset and builds true biliteracy, this is an incredible opportunity, as well as for educators looking to facilitate those kinds of opportunities for students. We can't wait to see this school come to life. And to learn more about enrollment at Escuela Bilingüe Betty Benavidez, please visit the school's Facebook page and join us next time as we continue exploring the paths of those who are helping guide us toward Destination APS. Until then, keep running your race with purpose.